Bitcoin is hovering around 26.5K as Bloomberg reports Republicans and White House negotiators are getting closer to a debt ceiling deal. Joining us to discuss the crypto markets is Gerber Kawasaki, director of Get Invested, Brett Sifling. Hello, Brett.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. In just under a week, the U.S. Treasury could possibly run out of cash. It's what everyone is talking about right now. Talk to me about what we can expect in the crypto markets, if there's a resolution and if there's not one.
It'll definitely be interesting. I think that the probability of them not reaching a deal is very, very low. But ultimately, if they don't, you're going to see some volatility that's brought onto the markets. Bitcoin and most of crypto has been pretty well correlated to tech and risk-on assets in the U.S. market. So, you could probably see some jumping around in Bitcoin's prices around the news. But then, you might have the other thesis of Bitcoin being this alternative money system, which is what it is. And ultimately, that could be another driver. So which way it's going to go is very, very hard to tell.
What way do you think it's going to go?
If I had to guess, I would say that it's probably a more of a sell the news event. It's really hard for us to make market predictions, and especially with something like Bitcoin that doesn't necessarily have like a true intrinsic value or cash flow that you can measure out of it. It's really hard to tell with a speculative asset.
So Digital Currency Group, also the parent company of us, CoinDesk, is closing down its trade execution and prime brokerage services unit, TradeBlock, due to crypto winter and regulatory uncertainties. Any market impact here? Just curious if you have any thoughts on this development.
It's never nice to see less competition in the space, and it does remind me of Binance, pulling out of Canada fairly recently as well. And we're just stuck in this position again where innovation continues to outpace the regulation that our legislators are putting ahead of us, and ultimately it's hurting competition in the U.S. when it comes to technology like this. And it also shows, the boom and bust cycles of crypto, and it's another victim of that. When money is pumped into the system, a lot of these firms pop up, a lot of these acquisitions happen, and then ultimately when things get tough, people have overbuilt and they really need to focus on what their core business is, what the most value they are bringing to customers. And a lot of the times they have to make really, really hard decisions like this.
This morning, we got some new data. The U.S. PCE core inflation data for April came in at 4.7% year over year versus the 4.6% that we expected. What's your macro outlook on this? And talk to us a little bit about what it means for the markets.
I think the whole world is watching inflation at this point, and it's obviously it was pretty much in line with expectations. There's a lot of the ways that they measure the data that does lag in certain instances, and so I think that this data, as well as how the Fed is going to react to this data over the course of the end of the year, is very, very important for markets, and could have us have a major swing in either way. But keeping this data low and not seeing it pick back up too much is very, very important if we want to have a next leg of this bull run.
Anything else, anything interesting going on in the altcoin markets? Just something, anything fun that you're looking at that people might not be aware of?
I think that the major theme right now is just AI, right? So I think that, especially when we just saw NVIDIA's earnings in the public markets, really just sparked all of this interest all over again on how, AI maybe just isn't a buzzword, and ultimately that it's driving real profits for real companies. And so I'm really excited to see what's going to pop up. There's a few very, very small market cap projects so far, nothing that we particularly invest in because we just invest in Bitcoin and Ether for our clients. But it's something that we're watching very, very closely and excited about the future.
Brett, thank you so much for joining us this morning. That was Gerber Kawasaki, director of Get Invested, Brett Sifling.